All right, ladies, welcome to the Ignition Point. I'm super excited to be jumping in here today with you because this is something that I feel is so near and dear to my heart and where I'm at in my business right now. And I know that there are so many of you who need this too. So the whole point of the Ignition Point is to get you into massive action on the other side of this. And I don't mean like work 20 hours a day and burn out and never see your family. I mean, what are you going to do differently after today that is going to give you much different results down the line? Okay, so today is all about building momentum and having a plan that will actually bring you to the place that you want to be in your business. And what I mean by that is we all have laid out lots of plans and strategies before, right? But then we've half-assed them or only taken action until it didn't give us results. And then we kind of started to pull back, or we've laid out a plan and then literally just sat there and watched ourselves not do the thing. And it's like, why? And we keep shaming ourselves about this, right? Sometimes you just have to figure out what's going on here and fix it so that you can move forward, right? So we've run into fear of failure, fear of success, imposter syndrome. We run into the imposter syndrome all the time because we're trying, or we think we need to show up as somebody that we are not. And that is not true. One thing that I hold so dear and my true belief is that what lights you up lights the way to your success. And so I can't tell you exactly what to do based on what I do, because that's probably not the thing that's going to work exactly like that for you in your business. But what I can do is show you the process, the thought pattern, what I'm actually doing in action so that it inspires you and empowers you to do the same thing for yourself. Hopefully that makes sense. So when I talk about finding your fire, I talk about this all the time because this is like the bedrock of everything that I have learned in the online space. If you figure out what you really want first, instead of what everybody else says you should want, then you're going to show up as a completely different human. Okay, so today, the whole point of today was to find your fire again so you can really step into who you are and own it. Number 2 is reconnect to the why that makes you work. I think we're told to get the why that makes you cry, like this big, huge dream. And it's like, yeah, that's your 7-figure vision. That's not what we're talking about right now. You wouldn't be here unless you had a 7-figure vision. But right now you're like, how do I crack through the 6-figure ceiling that I've been stuck under on my way to the business that I really want, right? And so all these different problems are happening under 6 figures. You have to work on your self-worth, your self-trust, your self-belief, and your self-love. Those are the things that all of us need to work on because we don't truly believe that we are worthy of this next level thing. And even if we tell ourselves we are, the actions that we're taking or not taking are proving that we actually don't trust ourselves, or we actually don't believe that we're worth XYZ. And so I think it's really important to get brutally honest with yourself at the very beginning of this class and just to like have a big sigh of relief that you are not alone and you are not the only one who shame spirals. You are not the only one that watches yourself not take action. You are not the only one who's scared shitless of blowing up too fast, which is such a weird thing to think, but it does stop a lot of us, especially if we were really successful in corporate but burnt out, or any career, whatever your career was. Successful and burnt out is not a fun place to be. And a lot of us have that story because that's been a reality for us, myself included. That was the worst. Okay, so when we're talking about taking radical responsibility for ourselves, we're not just talking about like forcing ourselves to take action. We're talking about, I need to get really real about what I actually want. Because the other day, for example, one of my mentors was talking about how she gave up Netflix with her husband and drinking wine on Friday nights because she really wanted to go after this next level life. And that's one of the biggest things that she's changed. And I was like, I like Netflix and I like drinking wine. And I don't actually, here's where it comes in, I don't actually believe that I have to give those 2 things up in order to get where I want to go to my 7-figure business. And so the coolest part about what she has taught me is to also, she always talks about discernment, right? Figure out for a second if something that somebody says is true for you or not, right? You can't just keep accepting all this advice and all the how-tos and all the steps from everybody else. You have to sometimes stop and be like, wait, is that true for me? Do I believe that too? Yes or no? Just take parenting, for example. If you were to listen to everybody's parenting advice in the world, you would shoot yourself. Like you would jump off a balcony because there's too many people trying to tell you how to do it right. And nobody actually knows the real thing. Everybody just has a belief about what's right for them. right? Same thing in your business. I have spent over $100,000 in coaching programs, mentorship in the online space. And what I realized, this is the biggest blessing, was that after all of that, I was the common denominator that was failing, right? And so did I learn something from every single thing? Yes. Sometimes it was not a good fit with me and the mentor once I got inside. Sometimes it was totally opposite of what was promised in the marketing once you got in there. And 85% of the people left in the first 2 months on a $23,000 investment. I stuck it out because I believe in people, you know. My mom's always believes in the good in people, and my dad's always like, oh, everybody, you know. Anyway, I've had a very interesting dynamic with my parents, who are still married, who believe very different things about people. But my dad was in the business world and got screwed over a lot by clients, and my mom has a very rosy outlook on the world. And it's just interesting how that plays out in my life and in my business too now. But anyways, I think what I'm trying to say is it's really important to get really, really, really clear on who am I going to be right now. So if we're going to take responsibility for where we're not, right, we have to be really honest about where we are right now and what has led to this point. So for me, again, I'm going to lead you through how I'm thinking about this, how I'm processing this, how I'm going through this currently in my life and in my business right now. I've had to get really honest about what excuses am I choosing. So I have 4 kids, and when my second son was 5 years old, he was diagnosed with brain cancer. And yes, that rocks anybody's world. And it's still ongoing. Literally, I'm heading down next week in 4 more sleeps to go take him for a week to Vancouver to try to see yet another specialist to see if we can get somebody to help him with his chronic headaches, because they literally cannot find anything to help this kid's chronic headaches every day, all day. No medications, no surgery, all the things we've tried. We've gone to the Mayo Clinic in the States. We've done all the things. So I'm still on the hunt, right? I will never give up. And that's how I feel about my business, except with Red, it's like I have to keep trying all the things until we find the right specialist. But with me in my business, I thought that I had to keep trying all the strategies until I found the one that would work. But what I have to actually tell myself or ask myself or get real about is I'm the one that makes the strategies work. I can't be the one that makes his headaches go away, because I don't have that ability, but I do have the ability to take the action in one direction long enough to see something through in my business. And that is the major bottleneck for me. It's the consistency. I have never showed up for myself consistently in my business. I gain massive momentum. I build a big list. I generate a whole bunch of leads. I make sales, and then I just like disappear. And yes, once again, there were reasons for it. But at the end of the day, it's like, what is that saying? You have to decide what's more important, your excuses or your dreams or something like that. Because did I have to take my foot off the gas every time? Once I had a 4th baby, overwhelmed, so much going on, took a step back again. Every time I do that though, I have to start from scratch again. And this is probably something you've done too, right? You've gotten really excited about something, you've gone after it, maybe you paid for a high-level program, you went in, you did all the things that they said you should do, but you were still missing clarity the whole way through. But that coach never promised you she was going to help you with clarity. She told you she was going to give you the steps to launch, for example. Launch a successful, offer or group program or challenge or whatever. There's lots of different elements and pieces of the puzzle that you've picked up along the way, and that you should fricking celebrate. You should pat yourself on the back. You should be so fricking fired up that you are still here, even if you failed up until this point in your own mind, because every single thing that you've done until now actually catapults you forward. Quantum leaps, everybody wants them, but they don't happen because you decide and manifest them. They happen because you've put so many of these pieces of the puzzle together, and finally it all comes together and then it explodes. That's what we're after in the activation point. That is literally what the purpose of today is supposed to be. Okay. So if you're watching the replay, I'm super excited. If you're joining me live, I'm going to just ask you to drop some things in the chat as we go. But basically what we need today is for you and me to take radical responsibility for where you are now and where you actually want to go. Because if you think you want to go somewhere, but then you're like, but I don't want to take the action to get there, then you can't go there. And most of the women that come into my world have a 7-figure vision, and they're just like, I just need to crack that 6-figure mark first. And I'm like, yes. Okay. So if you are in that place, then we have to focus on taking big time action, because the momentum has to build inside of you first before it will show up anywhere else in your business. And most of us have built major momentum And then there were no results yet, so we stopped. So here's a quick analogy for you. Imagine you're a farmer, okay? I love country music and I love farming and I love all that stuff. I'm a bit of a redneck at heart. Imagine you're a farmer and you're plowing your field in the spring. So you're driving along with your tractor and it's got those big forks out the back and like the seeders, right? And they drop the little seeds in behind as the little fork is plowing up the dirt. These little seeders, they drop all the little seeds. Imagine if the guy is trying to do a 100-acre field, right? Today, that's his job today. And every time he goes 10 feet, he stops the tractor, gets off, walks back, and looks to see if any of the seeds are growing yet. Of course they're not. They just got buried by dirt. They haven't even had 1 second. They need water to hit them to activate them, right? There's all these things that we do over and over. Okay, so then the farmer gets back. Nope, nothing's growing yet. Okay, I'll keep trying. So he drives another 20 feet, gets off, stops the tractor, goes back, looks. Shit, nothing's growing yet. Even back there, nothing's growing yet. It's like, yeah, because you have to actually plow the whole field and wait for the rain, right? Like we do this over and over and over. We start something and we stop. We start and we stop, and then we pivot, and then we go jump to a different strategy. And then we do that for a bit and we check, well, that's not working. Then we jump to the next thing. We have never let the seeds actually grow. And I know this for a fact. This is me being brutally honest with myself and the radical responsibility of, I know that this is what I do. And so now it's up to me to fix this. Now it's up to me to pay somebody to hold me accountable because I need that. Now it's up to me to figure out, okay, why do I keep doing this and how do I stop it? This is going to happen in the micro decisions. And so this is another piece of the why that makes you work that I want to talk about today, because this is something that I've had this like brand new little epiphany on in the last couple of weeks, where it's like, every time I look at something like at the grocery store, or every time something breaks in the house, or every time I look at I have a Suburban, and every time I look, there's like a little tiny bit of rust starting around one of the fenders or whatever you call them, with the wheel well. And my husband's like, man, like we got to go like get the 3M strips or whatever. They put like a coating. I live in a place where it's very cold and there's a lot of salt on the roads all the time. And so the vehicles start to rust very quickly. And so winter wonderland, that's what they call it to make it sound nice, but it's just hell up here. We're freezing. It's literally just snowed 20 minutes ago and it's what, April 23rd. Come on, summer, let's do this. Anyways, so every time I look at something, like I'm in the grocery store and I see the prices of meat just went up again, or I see this rust spot on my car, or my kids are like, I want to go to see the volcanoes in Hawaii. And I'm like, babe, like dad makes us enough money for us to go to Mexico for 15K, but I don't, Hawaii's not in the books until mom takes this, like lights this shit on fire and actually makes some real money. And that's a 30,000 plus vacation. That's not in the cards for us unless I fucking make it happen. So every time that happens, I used to always shrink down and be like, oh, I feel so bad because it's a shame spiral. You're going to know exactly what I'm talking about because I bet you do this all the time too. Every time you want something that's the extra, it's like, oh, but I can't because I don't have the money for that yet. And once my business takes off, but I don't have it yet, right? This like constant contraction and this like turtling that happens inside of us. And so what happens is a lot of us, I don't know what your story is, but most of the women that I work with have husbands who make enough money that everything's good life. Everybody's solid. Everybody's got everything they need. You can go on a vacation a year. Everybody's got new shoes. You know what I mean? Like we're not sitting there trying to figure out how to put food on the table for our kids. And sometimes that's actually, I mean, I will say it's always a blessing, obviously, because we're safe and secure and we have a roof over our head and we have everything we need. But what most of the women like me want is an extraordinary life and extraordinary choices and the freedom to travel and to go send our kids to any school, or to help them set up a business, or to help them get married and buy their first house, or to buy them a vehicle when they turn 16, whatever it is, right? Like those are the real freedoms that most of us as moms really actually want. It's not really like the yacht. I'd love to go on a yacht trip, but I don't want to own a yacht. That sounds like a lot of work and responsibility. And maybe if I have $1 bazillion one day, I'll own a yacht. But what I'd love to do is rent a yacht and have a bunch of my entrepreneurial girlfriends come out and drink champagne on the damn thing. And hopefully a bunch of my clients will be at a level where they actually are just like, fuck yeah, I want to come too. And then we fill the boat with those people. You know what I mean? Like those are the dreams that I have. I don't care about driving a Lamborghini, whatever the bro marketing stuff is. I think bro marketing is great. Good for those guys. If you want to operate a business like that, do it. Ambitious moms have to do it differently because we have a very different day every single day, right? Okay, so are you getting super clear? Is this starting to help yet? Are you starting to feel like activated? Are you starting to feel called out? Because that's the point of today, is calling you out. I'm calling myself out in order to call you out because I needed it. So I'm going first. I'm leading. This is how it's going. So when we're looking at the little tiny micro moments that are making you kind of turtle, like, oh, I wish I could do this. Oh, yeah, everything is getting more expensive. Oh, what's going on in the world? What's going on with the war? How's that all going to affect us? It's just like, this is the why that makes me work. And so if you can just change every time you have one of those little like shame hits coming in, if you're just like, this is the why that makes me work, and you just like smile about it instead of turtling and feeling shame and clamming up, right? Imagine how many times you can start catching yourself. I've started to catch myself probably 5 to 10 times a day, but I bet you it's happening way more. But the more that I'm noticing it, the more I'm catching it. This is the why that makes me work. And I smile to myself, like, it's all going to be okay. This is the why that makes me work. And so if you are looking for evidence everywhere about why you want to work, why you love to work, why what you do is so important for your family, for your future, for your legacy, all those things, it's a very different energetic place to be than feeling like, oh my God, I suck. Oh my God, I'm failing. Oh my God. The failure actually just is information, right? If you have a failed launch, if you create a masterclass and nobody shows up, if you create an offer and nobody buys it, it doesn't matter. That's just information. And so have you talked to your people lately, first of all? Like, I don't want to get too strategic today on the business side of things, because this is supposed to be an activation about go and fucking take the action that you need to take, that you know you need to take. But if you haven't actually talked to any real people in the last 30 days, real potential human clients, then you're not doing the things that you need to be doing, because you should be in conversation. You should be in community. You should be in chats. You should be in some sort of talks with real people. And when you're not, then who are you actually thinking is coming into your offers? And I think this is one of the biggest things that the online space has kind of duped us with, is just show up, just post on social media and they will come. It's like, build it and they will come. But and then it's just like, well, I still only have my Aunt Shirley and my neighbor and, you know, Kimberly from high school watching my stuff. Like, I can't, they're not my ideal clients. There has to be more to it than just post on social media, and it will happen if you just keep, you know. But also what I would say about this is, we're going to get into this when we lay out the action plan close to the end, but what you believe success needs to look like online is real for you. So either you change the belief about it, or you fucking cater to it and do the damn thing. Do you know what I mean? So here's what I'm going to say about that. I know for a fact that if I host collaborative events and I follow them up by conversion events, I sign high ticket clients pretty much every single time. Like 85% of my high ticket clients have always come in that exact direction. Other ones were when I was kind of earlier on in my business, and I had just come out of network marketing and I had a bunch of people around. And so that was more maybe social media based. Most of those girls still came to the events that I was hosting. Okay, so almost all of my high ticket clients have been through collaborative events and then conversion events. And it's crazy though, because there's still some sort of belief in me that believes that I need to create reels on social media and stories daily to be able to succeed. And so I have tried to fight this feeling for years, because I have proof that that's not true. I have evidence. I have the money in the bank that proves that that's not true. And yet I still keep coming back to tripping myself up about, well, I'm not successful because I don't have success on social media. And so if that is the case for me, you got to catch yourself in whatever story you have too. If that's the case for me, then I know I need to do the thing that I know I need to do that actually provides the high ticket clients, which is the event strategy that I teach and that I use myself. And then I need to just feed the fucking dragon that's in the back of my mind about the social media shit. So if I'm going to take radical responsibility for the next 8 months, for the rest of 2026, and whatever year or month that you're looking at, let's just say for 1 year from today, if I'm taking radical responsibility and I believe that I need to run an event strategy, and then I also need to post on social media consistently, on Instagram specifically, which is hilarious because my clients have always come from Facebook. But nope, I've always just had this thing. Nope, I have to be Instagram. Then I'm going to now go and make that fucking happen. Because if I go 1 more year without posting 3 reels or 6 stories a day or whatever the hell it is that I think needs to happen, if I go 1 more year without actually executing that plan that I think would make me successful, I'm going to fucking lose my shit. Like, I'm not available for it anymore. So if I go for 1 year and it does not do what I said or thought it was going to do. Okay, now I stop. Now I reevaluate. Now I pivot. Now I adapt, right? But if I don't ever try and I don't ever go all out and give it my all, then what the hell am I actually even doing here? And my kids are watching. Your kids are watching you. They're watching you try over and over, right? That's the worst feeling. Rylan called me out on that this week. Rose was like, Mom, when can we go see the volcanoes? I talked about this earlier. I want to take them to the volcanoes in Hawaii because when I was a kid, I got to fly over in a helicopter and the wind was just right. So they were able to like turn the angle, the whatever propellers or whatever, so that we could actually blow the smoke out of the way. And we actually got to look down and see live lava in a volcano. And Rhodes is 6 and he's so excited about this. He's obsessed with lava. And so now he's all over me about it. And then the other day I was like, yeah, when I make real money, babe, like we'll go to Hawaii. And then Rylan in the background, he's 12. He was just like, you mean try to make money? And I was just like, oof. Like I was like, at first I was like, how rude. And then I was just like, yeah, you're right. I got to stop trying and actually do the fucking thing. And I think that's where almost everyone that's at this thing, you're going to have the exact same feeling. Like it's time to shit or get off the pot. My dad always says that, like, shit or get off the pot. We've all heard that. It's like do or die. It's like, it's not a matter of can you or can't you, because you know you can or you wouldn't even be trying. You wouldn't even be here. It's now a matter of will you or won't you? Will you deal with your own shit? Will you make different decisions? Will you act differently? Right? Or won't you? Will you take the action that you know will make you successful long enough until it actually catches up and makes you successful? Long enough for the rain to come down on your field of seeds behind you and the sunshine and everything else. And yes, there's going to be crazy things that are going to happen when you're a farmer and you don't have control over it, but you can control certain things, like putting shit in the ground and waiting for it long enough so that it actually has a chance to grow before you decide that seeding a field doesn't work. Right? Oh my God. It's so clear when you just put it out and are just honest with yourself about this stuff. That's literally all I'm doing. Okay, so first we're getting brutally honest about where we are now. Take radical responsibility for what you haven't been doing. And don't let yourself off the hook anymore with the, well, I don't know if this is even going to work. And what if I do all this work and nothing happens and blah, blah, blah. No, stop that. The only way to know what's going to happen on your way to a 7-figure vision is by fucking taking the action until you get there. Okay, so stop pivoting. Make a commitment to yourself that you're going to stop jumping from strategy to strategy. You're going to pick one and run with it. Make yourself a commitment that you are going to make different decisions every day. So if you have the tendency to not get on the treadmill, that's a new thing for me. I'm on my 4th week of forcing myself to go get on the damn treadmill, and I negotiate with myself. Like yesterday, from 19 minutes all the way to an hour, I always do at least an hour on the treadmill, at least 3 miles. And that's my minimum. And so I'll often negotiate with myself about, okay, well, I only have this much time. Well, I could probably hit 3 miles sooner than that. So then I could get off because those are my thresholds. But then the thing is that by the time I get to the 3 miles, I'm like, oh shit, I only have 12 minutes left. I'm going to keep going. You know what I mean? Like you got to play the mind games with yourself. You have to grapple, is that the right word, with yourself more than anybody else in the world, because the only person you're truly letting down by not taking action and not doing the things that you say you want to do is you. You're letting yourself down. And we're so used to putting ourselves out into the world for, especially as moms, we're doing everything for everyone else and we let ourselves down. We break promises to ourselves over and over and over. We're like, oh, are you the kind of person that says what they're going to, does what they say? Like, are you, you know what I mean? That saying, oh, I got to get this right. My mom brain's kicking in. Are you the kind of person that does what they say they're going to do? And all of us would be like, yeah, absolutely. When it's for somebody else, right? Like if your neighbor called you right now and was like, hey, I need a hand with this. Do you mind coming over in 20 minutes? You'd be like, absolutely. You'd go show up for that person. But if you're sitting here and you're just like, you know what? I got to get this content posted today, even if it's not perfect, just to get it out, just to build the muscle, just to say that I did it, just to keep the promise to myself. Now you're negotiating, right? Now you're like, well, I could do it later, or, well, this isn't really the perfect lighting, or, well, I don't really know exactly what to say today. Who cares? Just do the fucking thing that you told yourself you were going to do. Keep your promise to yourself. Okay. So the ignition point is actually, I mean, I can talk all day long about the action plan, but at the end of the day, if you don't actually follow through and do the thing, then nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. You get what you get and you don't get upset, right? Okay. So brutally honest, Stop making excuses. You are the common denominator and you know it. Next thing. Are we on fire yet? Okay, I've been rolling 20 minutes. Okay. Second, we talked a little bit about reconnecting to your why on the micro moments. This is the why that makes me work. This is the why that makes me work. This is the why that makes me work. Make it a happy thing. Make it a fuel for your fire. Okay. Second, I want to talk about finding your fire again, because so many times we come flying into the online space and we're so excited. And we have these big visions and these big dreams and this big hope for ourselves and expectations and whatever. And then we do all the things, invest all the time, invest all the money, invest all the goodwill of our friends and family around us who were just as excited for us. I mean, even if they kind of weren't, they were, you know what I mean? Or they pretended to be. And now they're like, so what's going on in your little business there? And one of the biggest things that I've noticed about 7-figure entrepreneurs, because I do interview them a lot for my summits on purpose, because I want to know, I want to get inside their heads. What a great place to interview them. One of the biggest things I've noticed is that they're just like, you have to ignore, like, it's almost like you have to put the blinders on. You have to ignore the noise and just do your thing, right? And so when I talk about finding your fire, that's always coming back to the place of this little exercise that I created because I was postpartum. I was heading back to a 6-figure corporate sales management position that I'd been offered, working 3 days a week, managing the whole team. I could literally be as flexible as I wanted. And I was having anxiety attacks, like poker burning in the core of my gut, crazy conflicted feelings. I didn't understand what was going on. Anybody around me would have killed for that job. They were going to give me 120 grand a year, working 3 days a week with total flexibility. And I was basically an executive, like, and I was like, no, I don't want that, because I knew as soon as I got back in, because when I'm in something, I'm in it. And when you're in insurance sales, the clock never stops. It's all the time. The only time I stopped when I was a commercial salesperson, I used to sell commercial insurance to oil field and construction companies, is basically my bread and butter. That's what I did. And so you would go to the industrial parks, you would walk in and just hand in business cards. You would cold call them all the time off of I've literally started when we were doing it out of the phone book. That's how long ago I started on sales. And at the end of the day, I had this job I knew would never be able to shut off, because it's a toxic hustle, you know, culture still in the insurance business, and everybody is cutthroat and the market goes up and down nonstop. You're always fighting. Nobody likes you anyway, because nobody likes to buy insurance. Nobody likes when they have to use insurance in their claims. I hated that industry. I don't like when people don't like me. So that was not a great industry for me. And you might think like, oh, you seem so confident and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but not when it comes to people thinking you're a piece of shit because you're in insurance sales or whatever. Anyway, I have a thing that I don't like when people don't like me. So there. Anyway, I ended up burning the fuck out because I was super successful, making 6 figures before I was 30 in sales, burnt out of shit, left the industry, went back in as a consultant before my second son was born. Then after he was born, that's when it was like, he was 4 or 5 months old. And I was just like, I don't want to do this. Like, I just knew in my heart that it was not the right move for me. And so I took a chance on myself and did something else and failed for a long time. But I know so much more about what it takes to succeed because I failed so much. So don't forget that your strength lies in your weaknesses too, or in your failures too. If you always won, who would you be right now? Like, it's easy to say that you want to be somebody that just like made $1 million and it was so easy and whatever, but that's not anybody's story. Right? You fail your way forward, you learn, you fail, you learn, you fail, you learn, you fail, you learn. Actually, I would say that one of the things about failing in a lot of areas of my life, whether it's like my marriage, you know, or let's say I failed in my marriage, we're still giving her, but all the places that you have not been perfect are all the things that give you insight into how you actually help people later. And so isn't that the craziest thing? Like, and what do they say? Your chapter 11 is like the answer to somebody else's chapter 2 or something. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm getting at. Anyways, long story short, I'm on a ramble. I didn't want to go back to this corporate sales position that was dreamy. And all the women around me in my industry were just like, are you insane? Like, what do you mean? And I was like, no, I don't want it. I want to be something else. I want to be somebody else. I want to do something different. I'm made for more. I'm made for different. I don't want to be in the insurance business for the next 30 years. And I knew exactly what that was going to look like because all of my brothers and my dad were all in insurance or are all still in insurance. Half of them are retired and my dad retired a long time ago. And it's a great life. It provides them a great life. They make a lot of money at it, but they hate their fucking jobs. Even when you're making 300 grand a year, doesn't really make you that happy because you fucking hate getting up every day and going to the grind of doing what you hate. And I did not want that for me. And so anyways, I went to see a shrink, a psychologist. And I was like, I'm so conflicted about this job. I don't understand why I'm like not wanting to go back to it. I should be so grateful that I put myself in this position and I worked so hard to get here. And I got the job before I even went on mat leave to come back to when I was ready. And in Canada, you can have mat leave. At the time, it was 12 months. Now we have options to go up to 18 months if we want to. But they basically said, like, come back whenever you're ready. And so I had kind of indicated that maybe I would do a 6 month, like at 6 months, which is like so crazy. Why would you not spend the time with your babies? But anyway, that's where I was at. And so month 4 or 5-ish, I had this like breakdown and I was like, what the fuck? I got to do something different here. I don't want to do this. And I don't understand why, because what a great job, blah, blah, blah. And so then I went to this girl. I didn't really like her that much. We didn't have chemistry, but here you go. She changed my life that day because she said, I just listened to you for a whole hour. Let me stop you right there. I lost track a long time ago, writing down all the shoulds that you've just said to me. And she goes, do you actually know what you want? And I was like, what do you mean? And she's just like, well, you said you should this, you should that, you should. You're shoulding a lot. And now I call it shoulding all over yourself because it's hilarious because it sounds like shitting, obviously. But she goes, on the way home today, before you get there, before you get to the chaos of the house and the babies and the kids and whatever, stop somewhere and take out a piece of paper. And on one side, write down, I want, in terms of who you want to be, how you want to feel, how you want to be remembered. And then on the other side, just write, I should, ... And then write everything that comes out of you after you keep repeating, I should. And then, so she said on the front page, you don't want it to be like materialistic things. She said, you can include that if you want, but that's not the point. It's who do I want to be? How do I want to feel? What do I want to do? You know, how do I want to be remembered? That kind of vibe. And so I remember on the way home, I stopped at this dog park that's down the street from our house. And I sat in the sunshine. It was a beautiful day. And I sat at a picnic table and I just started writing. And it was just like, I want, and I wrote, I don't know how many pages, more than one, of all the things that I wanted to be or to feel or to do or to create or to, you know, how I wanted to live basically, and how I want my kids to remember me. And then I stopped and I wrote on like the 5th page or whatever, I wrote, I should ... And then I started writing, I should be grateful. I should be responsible. I shouldn't want to go do something that I don't like. I shouldn't want what's in the unknown, or I shouldn't want, like, it was basically guilting me because it was like, I should be grateful. I should stay with what I know. I should stay the course because I've always been told my whole life, like, you never stick to anything, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, that's actually a strength for me because I'm a manifesting generator. I'm a butterfly. I need to keep going and responding and pivoting and moving, right? And so I kept feeling so guilty for actually being who I am. And this all came out and it was so evident. I should be, what were the other ones? I should kill, or I should be grateful for this opportunity because most women would kill for it, is basically what the gist was, right? And then it was just like so crazy to me to look at the I wants, which were so exciting. And like, it opens your heart. If you haven't done this exercise before, you should definitely do it. I have it. It's a freebie I have called Find Your Fire. DM me if you don't know how to find it on my website, but I'll send you the link. It's just so great because it literally, it's like 10 minutes or something. Like, it doesn't take long to do, but it literally opens you up. It makes you remember who the fuck you are, why you're here, what you actually want to do. Because it's almost like your soul can actually come out on paper. I know that sounds really woo, but it's almost like your deepest desires will actually, it's like you give yourself permission to want again, like what you wanted when you were a kid and you were full of piss and vinegar and you were wild and free. You know, I used to think that I was like a wild Mustang running in the fields, like so free. And I do not, you know, sitting there writing all that stuff out, that was like, it was crazy. It was like, who am I? What do I want to be? You know? And then the I shoulds, slam that momentum down, and they literally turtle you, and it makes you kind of like, even your body language when you're writing them, it'll kind of go like this, like, ugh. And what I realized was the shoulds was everyone else's voice but my own, telling me what I should want, what I should do, what I should settle for, what I should be happy about, what I should, right? And so when we get stuck in the shoulds, that's exactly what happened to most of us, actually. If you were in a successful career, you probably did what you should do, what you thought was going to make you successful because somebody else told you you should. Oh, you should go get a job in blah, 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 or you'd be great at blah, blah, blah. You should apply, or, you know what I mean? We shoulded all the way up to this success level. For me, that was a 6-figure career. I was already at 6 figures. I was heading for multiple 6, probably within the next 3 years, the rate I was going. I was killing it as a salesperson before I quit. But I was like, I hate this. I don't like the person I am doing this. I'm a chameleon, so I can mold myself to any situation very easily. And when you're dealing with a lot of oil field and construction guys all the time, it's not fun. You have to prove that you have a brain. You got to wear your stilettos and your pencil skirt just to get in the door. I didn't want to do that anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I wanted to actually do something where I didn't have to prove who I am or what I was or that I had value. And so it's a completely different world in the online space because you don't have to work with people you don't like. What a relief. Anyways, so coming back to this, find your fire. The reason that this is so powerful is because you need to, right now, when we're talking about radical responsibility, getting super honest with where you are, you need to reconnect to your fire, which is what you actually want. Who do you want to be? How do you want to feel? What do you actually want to do? Who do you want to work with? What kind of a business do you want to run? What does that actually look like for you? Like, be delusional. Be selfish about it. I call it self-full, actually, because I think in our society, we get stuck between selfless and selfish. And you're either selfless, giving to everyone all the time, or you're selfish, you only want for yourself. And I'm like, no, we're ambitious moms, man. We're giving to everybody all the time. We also want something for ourselves. We are self-full. It's in the middle, right? We get both. We get the end. Okay, so if you are like, fuck, I can't even remember what I like anymore. I don't even remember. What am I even doing? That's normal. You're okay. It's okay. We need to reconnect you to your fire, which is what you really want. And then we go build your business around that. Because I'm willing to bet that all the things that you've done up until this point have diluted your voice or taken away from your vision in some way, or hammered, like whack-a-mole you right back down into your little hole every time you popped up and saying that you're not valuable, you're not worth it, or you made failed launches or offers that didn't sell, or people hearing crickets on social media. You made it about something about you, and it is not. Okay, we just need a different approach to this now. It is literally time for you to get super clear on what lights you up, and then light the fucking way to the moon with it. You know what I mean? Okay, so if you haven't done that exercise and you want to, DM me, hey Mary, I just want to do that find your fire exercise. This sounds really cool. I really think it's important. I like all of my clients to do that. But also, are you lit up by your business right now? And I'm not talking about the results. I'm talking about what you're actually doing in your business right now. Because for me, it was like, I love working with my clients, but there was like a huge disconnect in the marketing side. I wasn't in love with how I was marketing anymore. It felt very forced. It felt had to show up and be somebody I wasn't. It felt like if I take one more content that converts course, I'm going to fucking scream. Like, I don't want anybody else's advice anymore. I just know for a fact that it is about me taking the action in integrity, in my fire, in my zone, in my leadership, leading myself first so I can lead others. Like, oh, it finally got sunny out there. This is like blinded by the light. It's really, really important to connect to your fire. Your fire builds your empire, right? Fire to empire. I'm hosting a big event coming up that's going to be called that because I'm so freaking passionate about it. And you're going to watch this massive momentum happen in my business because I'm taking massive action now, and I am paying someone to hold me accountable because I need that. Some people don't need that. I need that because I have done too many times where I said I was going to do the thing and I didn't do the thing. And I need somebody to point out my blind spots and my gaps and whoa, you said you were going to do this. How come you didn't do this? Blah, blah, blah. That's okay. I'm human. That's what I need. What do you need? Figure that out and fucking fix it. Go fill that hole. go hire that person. If it's me and I'm like cracking you open and you know that you're like feeling the pull to like me being in your back pocket whenever you need it, let's talk about that. Do you know what I mean? If you're in the Ambitious Academy already, you already know. Proximity to this is like, it's not because I'm a guru and I have all the answers. It's because I activate you. We are in co-creation together. That's a frequency that I, for some reason, have the ability to create very easily. It's my superpower. I don't know how it does or how it happens. I have the ability to break something down very easily for people who need to hear it, right? So anyone who's in the academy, you already know that. Anybody who's not in the academy or in one-on-one work with me, like message me if you need help. This is what I'm here to do. Okay, so first we talked about getting brutally honest about where you are. Finding the little whys that make you work every single fucking day, add fuel to your fire. Second, find your fire again. If you feel like you have lost all the zest for your business and you don't even want to do it anymore, then that's a problem. You're not going to want to force yourself any longer. Exit stage left, right? Easy, go get a job. You're super employable. You know you can make a lot of money. Do that. But if you're like, fuck no, Mare, I'm not giving up. This is what I'm meant to do. I know it. I know I'm meant for this. I know I can make a huge impact. I know I'm meant to make a huge impact doing something that lights me the fuck up. Then let's get you back to clear on your fire. Find your fire first, then we build your empire around it. Okay? That's the second thing. Third, we got to have a plan. And the thing about the plan is when you create one, today the ignition point is about committing to the plan and figuring out how you're going to hold yourself to it. Because like we talked about earlier, you could literally show up and make a million promises to yourself that you're going to break and nobody would know the difference except you. And every time you do that, it sucks. Every time you do that, you take a little piece of your heart, right? Your own heart. You're breaking your own heart. So today is about fuck this, no more. Who am I now? I don't care what I have done in the past. I don't care what my pattern was. I don't care about any of that. Who am I right now? Everybody talks about picture your 8-figure self and just be her or think like her or act like her. And it's just like, what the fuck does that mean? Does anybody actually know what that means? No. How could you possibly visualize that? An 8-figure self? No, you can't. If you're not at 6 figures yet, you cannot put yourself in there. So your brain goes, that's dumb. Next, right? What you need to decide is who you are going to be now, this year. If you need to picture this in a 90-day cycle because that's very grabbable for your brain, great. If you need to picture it for the rest of this year, calendar year, great. If you need to say, I'm committing to this for 12 months starting today, that's great. Whatever it is that you know you need to do for your success, you need to do it. You need to commit to it. You need to decide and move on it today. Okay? That's the ignition point. So we can lay out a million different plans, but it is very, very, very important that you lay out the one that you actually fully believe. If you executed it, let's just play with ourselves for a minute here. If you were to execute a plan and you think for yourself, oh my God, if I actually did this year for the next 12 months or 90 days or whatever, for me, it's like the next 8 months because the rest of 2026, I like to kind of reset at the beginning of the year. I don't know why. If you need to reset every 90 days, you can. If you need to plan out a quarter at a time, whatever your brain will say, agree and say yes to is what you need to do for yourself right now. We can always change it later, right? Don't forget that. So if you're to make a plan for the whatever time frame, I'm just going to use for the rest of 2026 for me because it's 8 months. So I'm going to talk about that. But if you need to adjust for you, go for it. Actually, no, let's talk about 90 days because anybody could grab 90 days in their brain. So if for the next 90 days, so you got 3 months starting today, not tomorrow, starting today. So it doesn't even matter if it's the 26th, you're starting today. If for the next 90 days, you were to take a certain amount of action and you could lay that out and it would give you certainty as the farmer who's plowing the field, dropping the seeds in, that you were going to start to see something grow. I'm not talking about the whole harvest is going to come in 3 months because that's not going to happen. And anybody who's selling that online is fucking lying about it. Oh, I just rolled into the online business world and I made $1 million in the first 16 days. You're like, what? That's not true. Okay, so for the realistic people who actually want to put in the reps, build the muscle, do the work, plant the seeds, get the fucking thing rolling so that yes, eventually the harvest does come. Right? What does that look like for the next 90 days for you? Because everybody's going to have something different. If you don't have a plan yet, or you don't have a strategy yet, or you don't even know what that looks like, then that means you're probably very early in your business. Go grab my Map It Out workshop. It is free. It's a masterclass I hosted. It will show you exactly how to lay out your 90-day plan to find and sign high ticket clients with my collaborative event strategy. It has worked for every single client that has run it, every single one, and myself. So if you don't have a strategy, go look at the Map It Out workshop, or message me, DM me, and just say, hey, what's the Map It Out workshop? I need a strategy. Okay, but most of you have a strategy, or if you're in the academy, you are already in that strategy as your backbone, as your framework. I like to teach strategy as like a loose framework, because everybody has different things that they do in their business because of their personality or their clientele or the type of business they have. I think trying to put everybody into a cookie cutter box is actually the first way to kill everybody's business momentum. But when you know what you're working towards all the time, which is the anchors in our schedule, which are events for most of us, then you always know what you're heading towards. You always know what you're marketing towards. And anything else that you want to do in addition to those events that are anchors in your schedule, that's bonus, that's gravy. But those are the things that you know that are the anchors that keep you grounded in your certainty and in your confidence and in your clarity and your certainty. Clarity is not, I want to just say this really quickly. Clarity is not a destination. It's not something you get once. It's something you get, and then you go to the next thing. You're going to hit a speed bump again, and then you're going to need clarity on something else, or clarity on the same thing, but in a different way, because now you've pulled something. What I'm trying to say is everybody thinks that they're supposed to just have this perfect answer and then run after it. And then they're always going to have clarity now. No, that's not how it works. Clarity is a slippery little slope, slippery little bugger. You got to keep chasing clarity all the time. It's one of the things that I work with my clients all the time in the academy, in my private spaces. You need clarity over and over and over, because everything changes in life and in business all around you all the time. And that's okay, but that's normal. So don't feel like you're clear one day and then you hit the inevitable wobble 2 days later and you're screwed and you got to go back to square one because now you're not clear. No. Fucking stand there and say, I need help. I'm feeling like I'm flailing. I'm in the inevitable wobble. I'm expecting it because I know this is going to happen, but I can't fucking see the forest for the trees. You know what I mean? You know that saying? Okay, so lay out your plan. That's what I'm talking about. If you were to create your own plan for the next 90 days, and you said, here's exactly what I know I would need to do in 90 days to start seeing some freaking seeds sprouting behind me as I drove my tractor, I planted a whole bunch of seeds. That's what the 90 days is. It's planting the seeds for 90 days. What would that actually look like for you? Because that is what you need to write down. And if you want to write it down and you want to send it to me, like a screenshot, and DM it to me, and just get, if you need help, or you want to go back and forth and say, like, what else do you think I could add or whatever? Or do you see any holes or gaps? Or basically the majority of the time, I'm going to look at something like that and you're going to say, okay, I have all this action put in there. And that's why I like to push it out for myself longer than 90 days, because 90 days goes like that. And then where are you? Starting again for 90 days. So my plan that I laid out the other day, where is it here? Reach to match my vision and legacy. Where did I put it? Anyways, long story short, it's for 8 months. So I put, oh, okay, here, I'm just going to read this to you. This is something I came up with the other day where I was like, what would it actually take for me to get to where I want to go this year? You know what I mean? Like, if I'm being really radically responsible with where I am now and what I haven't been doing, what I know I need to do, then what do I need to actually put out into the world? And so I just grabbed a piece of paper. Oh my God, I can't see it because I'm in blur mode. But basically what it was is I need to do weekly interviews for the Ambitious Mom movement, which is something that I've been wanting to do forever, but I want to start a podcast. So I'm going to walk you through how I came up with this. I want to launch a podcast. I've been thinking about it for years. I want to just fucking do it this year. I'm just going to put a date down for it and do it. So I did, but here's how this developed. Here's what I believe it will take to get me to my 7-figure vision. This is what I need to do. I need to create my podcast because I want long-term content, right? Which I can also put onto YouTube. Note to self. Okay, so I need my podcast. I need to figure out where the fuck I'm doing my free community, because I had mine in Facebook forever, but I just don't love it anymore. It's not lighting me up. So I think I'm moving it over to Telegram. So So this is my thought process, right? Social content needs to go out. I need to do crazy amounts of reels. So 3 reels a day plus 6 stories a day. That's kind of where I'm thinking that I need to land. But this was just my brainstorm. I need to do collaborative events at least 4 times a year. So those are my big summits that pull in new leads onto my email list so that I have leads that came in that I know are interested in that topic that I chose, because that makes sense for people who come into my programs or my coaching, right? Okay, so I need to do collaborative events 4 times a year, conversion events at least 1 after each collaborative event. So that's at least 4 a year. Then I wanted to do an in-person live event retreat, which I'm so scared to do because I am literally petrified that nobody's going to come. Like, that is literally something I'm grappling with every day, but I've started to look at my Airbnb spots and I already know the dates. It's going to be October 1st to 3rd of 2026. It's going to be amazing. There's going to be a bonus night the night before when everybody's arriving, and I'm going to have amazing speakers that are going to come in, and I'm going to pull this off, and I really hope that I'm going to sell it out, but I am so scared that no one's going to come. There's my truth, but I'm fucking doing it anyways. I've already got the dates booked. It's in. Once their anchors are in your schedule, very hard to back out, right? Hold yourself accountable, go do the fucking thing. What if 4 girls show up and it's the best 3 days of our lives? Would it be worth it? Yes. So I'm going to fucking do it anyways. If you want to know more about that, it's going to be, I think I'll just call it Fire to Empire, because I fucking love that title. And what lights me up lights the way to my success, even though everybody keeps telling me that nobody knows what that is. And I'm like, I don't care. I'll explain it, you know? Anyways, see how there's like, I want you guys to like witness this right now. See how there's like a, what do they call it? A duality. I want this thing so bad. I know I can talk about fire. I know I can light people on fire. I know I can help them build empires. And then I'm like, but I hope somebody comes. What is that? That's real. So if you feel that crazy pull between those 2 things all the time, just so you know, you're not the only one, right? Watch me as I lead myself through this stuff, because I have no choice anymore. I am forcing myself into the corner. I am engineering the pressure to do this thing now because I want it. And I'm sick of saying I want it. I want it now. You know what I mean? So I know that even if I made $0 for the rest of 2026 and I went the next 8 months in massive momentum, massive action, I know that even if I made $0 all the way to the end of the year, that next year might be the harvest. You know what I mean? Like, I'm positive it won't take me that long to get there, but my 7-figure vision needs me to show up like this for 3 years. That's what's in my head. That's what I believe about it. And so it's time to fucking do the thing, because I can't waste another 3 years trying. I need to spend 3 years giving her. You know what I mean? And for me, that doesn't mean working so much that I burn out. I can't. I have 4 kids. I have medical appointments for all the time. I have all this shit on my plate. Sports galore, all the things. But if I'm super intentional about exactly what I need to do, and I put the anchors in my calendar, and then I get super clear on what I know will bring me success and stop looking at the results. What if the results are none of your fucking business, right? Like, can you imagine if somebody said, if you go execute this plan, I will give you $1 million at the end? Would you do it? Yes. Would you care if anybody showed up to one of your things? No. Would you care that you're hearing crickets online? No. You would just keep fucking going because you knew there was $1 million at the end of it. That's the same thing as what we're doing in the ignition point. It is writing yourself a check for $1 million and then saying, here's how long I think it's going to take me to get there. And here's the action I know I need to take. Otherwise, I will never, ever actually give myself that shot. I have a Post-it on my computer. See if I can zoom it in front of my face. No? Frick. Did I swing today? That's all it says. Did I swing today? Because I have this beautiful vision board up on my wall right beside me. And this $8 million house that I absolutely am in love with. I'm obsessed with it. It was for sale a few years ago, so I printed out a bunch of the pictures off of the realtor website. And I have it there because it is literally everything about the life that I want is in that house. It's represented there. Where I would sit, where I would do my work, where I would entertain, where I would host my retreats of all my ambitious women that would come and all my ambitious moms, and the life I could give for my kids, and the life that I want for my husband, and the life that I want for myself. Like, it's in wine country. It's out in the Okanagan. It's right on a giant lake. It's so fucking beautiful. And the house is so beautiful. And I have a picture of the truck that I want to buy for my husband right beside it. And like, the only way that I don't get that, because I can taste it. I can visualize it. I can taste it. Okay. So maybe this is what they mean when they say, like, what would your 8-figure self do? I can taste that life. I can smell it. I can see it. I can hear it. I'm there. You know what I mean? And the only thing standing between me and that place is me not taking this action. That should be the fucking ignition point. That's the real thing that we need to address within ourselves. The only thing standing between you and everything you want is you staying in the game long enough to see it happen. And it happens in all these little micro breakdowns. Every time we negotiate with ourselves, every time we don't post, or every time you have an event. For anybody in the academy, I'll call you out on this stuff, but it's like, anytime you have an event in your calendar and you keep pushing it back, you're leaking leadership. You're not keeping a promise to yourself. It's not about whether the speakers are not annoyed that you moved it again. They don't really care. You're the one that just postponed your success for 2 more weeks. So that little $1 million check that's waiting for you at the end of this rainbow, it just got pushed by 2 more weeks. You know what I mean? Like, we are the ones letting ourselves down. So today is about deciding and moving. Are you going to commit to this plan that you're going to list out? And then are you going to fucking do it or not? Because I'm just so tired of failing. Like, I've failed my way forward and I can pull all the positives out of that. But now is the time. The only thing standing between me and this life that I want is me taking this action consistently and staying in it. Stay the fucking course. Okay, so I got on a tangent after I talked about my live retreat there. So I had said I wanted to launch a podcast this year. I want to move my free community because I don't like where it is on Facebook anymore. My social content, specifically Instagram, that will cross post to Facebook, that's defined. I need to do collaborative events, conversion events. I had already listed how many. And then I want to do my very first in-person live event, which will be October 1st to 3rd. And Fire to Empire is what we're going to call it. And then I was like, should I do one online Fire to Empire event as well? You know, but I don't know if I have enough time, because it's already end of April, May, June, July, August, September, 5 months. Yeah, I do. Okay. So anyways, did you see me just negotiate there? Well, maybe I don't have to do all of it. Holy shit. Caught myself. That's how it happens. You catch yourself doing it too. We all do it. My gosh, where did I put that stupid sheet? Anyways, okay, so what I did is I took down, here's all the things that I know I need to do in order to be successful this year. And then I put them into an event strategy schedule. Well, oh, there it is. It's called the rest of 2026. That's what I wrote. All right, so in May, I have one collaborative event, one 3-day challenge that I'm going to host, which is a conversion event, another collaborative event at the very end of May, June 15th. Oh, that's my Fire to Empire online event. So I think I'm going to run it for like a week. It's going to be very like hypey, very like reignite the, ignite the night. It's going to be a lot of fire energy anyways, because June, I'm having another collab event in June, and then so usually I go away for all of July and half of August with my kids, and we go to the lake. So I was like, you know what would be really fun is if I launched my podcast from the lake, because it's my favorite place. It's my happy place. It's the best place on earth. I feel the best there. And I'm like, if I could launch my podcast there, that would make me so happy. So July, I'm launching my podcast. And then I'm also going to do another collaborative event. And then August, I'm doing collab and conversion. September, collab and conversion. And then I'm saying momentum and speed to get into the Fire to Empire event that's live October 1st to 3rd. Then I'm doing another online conversion event the following week, because there will be so much energy and so much, like there will be just so much stuff going on and momentum for me personally that I want to keep that rolling so that I can give that to other people too. And then November, I have another collaborative event and conversion, and another collaborative event. And then December 8th to 10th conversion. And then December 22nd, map it out workshop. Then I'll run an encore December 29th for the Q1 for next year, map it out workshop. So I'll have 2 of those because I love running those. It's just laying out your strategy. Easy day. Anyways, but now all I have to do is invite the speakers, put the stuff together, and do the damn thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it actually isn't as hard as we make it out to be. I want to just talk about something really quick, because we get so in our heads about what we're creating and what's going to convert. And we put so much pressure on the results. And what we need to do is just put pressure on ourselves to take the action instead, not in a forced way, but I'm standing in my power. I'm talking about what I believe for real. I know I can help people with this. This is what most of my people are struggling with. Just talking, right? I think I'm just going to do like a kitchen counter, that kind of a style reel every day where I'm just like, hey, here's what I think somebody needs to hear today. Because I see other 7-figure entrepreneurs who are crushing it with sales doing that. And I'm not going to go and look at what they're saying in their stuff, but that's the style. They're just putting out content so that people know them, like them, trust them, and then they can buy from them. That's it. It doesn't have to be so fucking hard. When I sit down and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to use ChatGPT again or Claude or whatever to create all this content. And then I sit there and I'm like, ugh, stole my voice. That's not how I talk. Like, no matter how much I feed it, it still doesn't grab who I really am. What I need to do is just turn my camera on and fucking talk. Right? So that's easy for me, but I make it so hard. You know what I mean? Like, there's people in the world that have it really hard right now. And posting content, pressing play on a camera, that's not hard. So why do we make it like that? So one thing I want to say about this is, as you're writing out your plan, and I really, really highly suggest that you send me a screenshot of it just so that you're witnessed in this, right? Like, here, I did this. Or drop it into the Telegram chat or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, why am I making this so fucking hard? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we talked about taking radical responsibility, calling yourself out, figuring out why you are the way you are. Like, but also at the end of the day, why are you making this so hard? Like, why are we putting so much pressure on something that's actually so easy? Digging a ditch in the dark, in the rain, in the freezing cold, that's hard. Posting a little video online, that's not hard. Doing it 3 times a day in the same outfit, from the same background, with the same shitty lighting, whatever, doesn't matter. That's not hard. And yet it is probably the thing standing between me and my 7-figure vision, right? And what's that thing for you? Like, I would really love to know, what's that thing for you? So, okay. We got honest about where we're at, a little bit of why that makes you work every day, those little hits. Clock that shit. Whenever you see something that's like, oh, I don't have it yet. Oh, that's the why that makes me work, and be happy about it. And then get back on the track. The more that you tell yourself that's the why that makes me work, the more you have fuel to just go get the fucking thing done and keep the promise to yourself of that day, right? If you say, I'm going to put out this much stuff every week, and then you don't do it, you're the only one that can say you're the reason why you failed. And so we have to engineer this pressure on the action, not the results. The results will fucking come. If you show up in your power as who you truly are, you start talking about how you can help people, people will hire you. It just is the way it is. You know what I mean? Like, if you have some kind of holdback on charging high tickets still, get into my DMs. You need help. If you're already in the Ambitious Academy, you already know. Like, anytime you run into that block, or if you're not in the momentum room, oh my God, it's my monthly membership. It's under $100. It's where you literally go in and drop the blocks. Anytime you run into a wall, you freaking go in there. There's a separate little Telegram channel for drop the blocks. And then I come in and I go into the blocks unlocked and I respond and I tag you. Get help with whatever you're stuck on. It's crazy not to. It's crazy not to. You have a vision and something is in your heart because it is meant for you. And now it's time to go and get into the enough momentum that starts inside of you first, then shows up outwardly, right? We all think it's like, oh, I'm not making the sales. The sales come after you do all the things. You cannot grow a crop the day that you plant the seed. It doesn't work like that. You ever heard that analogy about bamboo, how bamboo grows and doesn't look like anything's happening for 10 years and then it shoots to like 40 feet in the air in like less than a year or something? Like, I don't know the exact dates or whatever, but there's the analogy. You could be looking like you're doing nothing forever, and then all of a sudden, bam, sky's the limit. And that's what we need to do here. That's why I keep talking about the ignition point being massive action, creating the massive momentum, creating the massive, what would we even call it? Certainty. Because you need to know, I'm doing this for a reason. This is the why that makes me work. I know that by taking action every day, I'm proving to myself, more importantly than anybody else, that I can fucking do this. right? And then the massive results come later. Don't expect them to come the first day you plant the seed. You have to wait. You have to plant them long enough. You have to keep tending. You have to keep watering the crop. You can't just fucking expect it to all happen one day and then go, well, canola didn't work. I guess I'll try barley next. That's what we're doing with strategies. I'm calling myself out just as much as anybody else. Oh, oats didn't work for me. I guess I'm going to go over here and plant canola, whatever, some sunflower seeds or something, mustard, whatever, something in the crop. Timothy hay. No, that didn't work. Now I'm going to do alfalfa. It's like, no, fucking stick with the canola in the first place and you would have had your bamboo moment already. So I highly suggest, just to kind of wrap this up, that you go get super honest about where you're at, literally with yourself, that you figure out if you need mentorship and coaching and on a higher level. If you're not already in the academy or in one of my one-on-one spaces, get really realistic about what you actually need. And it doesn't have to be me. Maybe it's somebody else that you've been eyeing up for a while, but you need to go and make sure that somebody is holding you to what you say you want. If you haven't been taking the action, you keep spinning, you keep pivoting, you keep jumping strategy to strategy, get somebody to hold you to the fucking fire. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes we need to pay for that. Lots of businesses invest in lots of things. We are so lucky in the online space that the only investments that we really have to make is in a little bit of technology cost for some programs that we use to make our lives easier online, maybe some team members to help us make our lives a little easier, and mentorship to make you do the thing that you say, that you want to do. How lucky are we? Seriously, we have almost no overhead in this space. So if you really feel like, fuck, I know I'm just going to fall into the same rut again, pay somebody. The reason that we pay somebody to pull us out of these ruts is because she's going to show up and you're going to show up. And the money has to match the energetic match of both of you, of her saying, I can help you, and you saying, this is what I want, and then her holding you to that thing. So that's why when people are like, oh, I want to start coaching, I'm only going to charge somebody, what did somebody tell me once? He was like, my shrink, who's like, went for a PhD, only charges $180 an hour. What makes you think you could charge $500 an hour for coaching? And I was like, the proof that I have people that pay me. And I honestly think that I give people so much clarity and such breakthroughs in such a short amount of time that they would pay me a lot more than that. Do you know what I mean? Like, it blew him away that I would even have the audacity to charge more than a psychologist or a shrink or whatever. And I was like, I'm in a different business. This is a different line. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh. So the mentorship, if you need it, go get it. Stop saying, I'll do it when I sign more clients or whatever. You need to step into who you are right now. Who are you right now? Decide that. Not who you were in the past, not any of the mistakes that you think are holding you back, not on any of your old patterns. Who are you now? Decide and move from that place. Every day, decide who you are now. Decide and move, decide and move, decide and move. Stay the fucking course. You have a dream, you have a vision, you have a legacy to create, you have a family to take care of, you have a family to give all the choices in the world to, anything that you want. And it all comes down to whether you're gonna do it or not. Not can you or can't you, you already know you can. It's will you or won't you now. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap her up. If you would like me to look at your action plan, I highly suggest that you write down, like I did, just like bullet point out, what would I think I need to do to hit, to get my 7-figure momentum rolling. That's basically what I said for the rest of this year. And then I wrote down those things. And then I took that and I said, okay, how do I put that into my calendar? And I just wrote the months that are left in the year. And then I just freaking winged it. And I looked at my calendar, where I was, when the kids are out of school, when we're going to be here, when, the May long weekend is, when this is happening. And I just scheduled around my life first. And now I have all those dates and set in stone. And now I just have to go execute the damn thing and post on Instagram. Which actually has been getting a lot easier lately, because the more you build the muscle, the more it actually is just easy to do it. Same with the treadmill. I had to prove to myself, I've been talking about getting a treadmill. This is a perfect analogy to close this out. I have been talking about getting a treadmill for, I don't know, probably 5 years. And more seriously for over a year, because Rhett, who's my son with brain cancer, he was on a bunch of medications that made him gain a whole bunch of weight, and he hates it. And he's like, Mom, I just need to work out. And it was so cold and it was winter forever. And I was just like, buddy, we should get a treadmill and set something up in the garage. And he's just like, okay, great. So finally, I have been talking about getting a treadmill for myself for 5 years because I knew that I'd be able to go on it in the garage all the time. I knew that it would be somewhere where I don't have the excuse that I can't go outside because it's too cold or whatever. I get all itchy when I'm outside when it's cold. Anyway, long story short, I've been talking about doing this for 5 years, and I finally did it because Rhett came along and held me accountable because he kept bugging me about it. It cost $150 off Facebook Marketplace. Easiest purchase ever. The guys loaded it into the truck. I just borrowed my mom's truck because my Suburban was going to be a little tricky. They loaded it in for me. I got the neighbor next door to come over and help me unload it because Reese was at work, and I have used it 4 days a week minimum for the last, this will be my 4th week. So, and today I already did, this was my 3rd day this week. So I'm proving to myself that I'm going to keep a promise to myself now, because I'm starting to hit perimenopause and everything's just kind of, and I'm not feeling good in my body. I don't feel like I have a lot of energy. I'm getting stiff and sore all the time. I don't like being overweight. I've never had that problem in my whole life, really. Like I've always just been able to just clean up what I ate for a couple of weeks and then good to go again, or cut out the wine for 10 days and then you go to Mexico and you're good. You know what I mean? Like, so my body's changing and I need to decide who I am now. And that's what I decided. And that's kind of what spurred on the whole idea behind today's the ignition point, where it's just like, you just have to make a decision and commit and go all in. And the other cool thing about what I'm doing in my business is that I am going to be doing these types of micro experiences or micro offers every month in my business that always strengthen what my academy members are going through, and anybody else can come in and experience them too, if they want to just pay to come in, but they're all included for my academy. And it holds me accountable to my own business and to what I say I'm doing, because it is literally, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Do you know what I mean? Like if I say execute this thing and then I don't execute it right in front of your eyes, then do I have a business? No. So I'm engineering the pressure to do the action. Does that make sense? So if you are sitting there being like, oh my gosh, I've been talking about succeeding in my business for 5 years, just like I was in the treadmill. Oh, I'll do it. You know, I'll get a treadmill one day. No, fucking decide. Just fucking do it today. Make the decision. I bought it off Marketplace. I arranged it with the guy. I brought the cash. I went and got it. I put it in my garage, and I've literally kept the promise to myself since that I was going to use it. I started out saying I was only going to do it 3 days a week, and I've been doing it 4. I think last week I did a 5, which is cool. But this is like, just like the event strategy. Nail the framework of what you know you're going to do to anchor in your schedule, and anything in addition to that is gravy. Just bonus. Anyways, hopefully that's helpful. I hope that I've inspired you today. I hope I'm cracking something open in you. I hope you're calling yourself out in a good way. I hope that I'm not going to sit around here and say, just do some affirmations and it'll all come to you. No, you got to fucking go do the work. I don't know anybody who's ever gone out and sold because they were manifesting on their couch. I think that was Jim Carrey that said, like, nobody's ever manifested $1 million acting gig by sitting on their couch eating a sandwich. You still have to go out and do all of the, what do they call them? Oh my God. Not interviews. Why isn't my brain working? You're probably like jumping up and down saying the word. What do they call? Where the actors go and they perform the thing and they do the. This is what perimenopause has gotten me. I actually don't remember the word right now. I'll remember it as soon as I get off this thing too. Auditions. Oh my God. In case you needed evidence of having to be a real human in order to have a successful business, you now have it. Audition. It was audition. Anyway, what he said was, you still have to go do all the auditions. You still have to do a bunch of the crappy roles. You still have to go do the work, you know? Yes, you're manifesting your dream life, but it's because you're taking the action on the way to getting there to give you the opportunity for that dream role to land in your lap, is basically what he said. And the same thing applies for you. If you have a 7-figure business vision, but you are still capped under 6 figures, it is time to decide and move, baby. Literally, today is your ignition point. If you choose to let this be it, if you need more help, you know where to find me. If you need strategy, I have my Map It Out workshop. If you need to find your fire first, then I can either walk you through that or you can go do my freebie. But please, please decide today what you want more, to stay where you are and keep flailing and keep struggling. This was literally my journal entry to myself the other day. Are you going to choose to continue to stay where you are and struggle and try? Or are you going to fucking do what you know you have to do in order to succeed? And it's a choice and you get to decide. So I hope you decide to move. I hope you start really going after and keeping the promises that you make to yourself, because that is the hardest thing for me to do. And it is literally probably the thing that I will focus the most on this year, is keeping promises to myself. And I hope that I have an incredible story next year to be able to say, holy shit, I quantum leaped. This was unbelievable. I mean, clock it. It's April 23rd, 2026. So I will be able to come back and share whatever's going on April 23rd of 2027. And I'll be able to show exactly from today's date, when I made this ignition point decision, what's going to happen 1 year from now. And I really hope you do the same. So if you need me, you know where to find me. And I hope this was insightful, and let today be your ignition point. Cheers.